Hey everybody, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about all about hormones and autoimmunity. But I want to introduce a series that we're starting, and it's called Real Autoimmune and Real Hormone Transformations. So you guys have heard from multiple trainings I've already done that I've created a beautiful guide. In fact, a whole workbook on what are the checklists for hormone symptoms and also what are some of the natural ways to start turning around your hormones naturally. If you want the guide, what you want to do is go ahead and check above or below this video, and there's a link to chat our team. Just ask for our hormone balancing guide. That'll be great, right? Go ahead and do that. If you want help in turning around your autoimmune or hormone issues, please go into the comment section below and give us some detail about what hormonal struggles you have and what autoimmune struggles you have, and our team will respond to you in a couple of hours. Check your message requests, and we'll be responding with some resources to get you started to get help. Today, what I want to do is introduce a series we're doing, and it's all about real autoimmune change and real hormonal balance. How are they related? We've already done trainings on what are the symptoms. And we've done trainings on what are some supplements that can be helpful, herbs that are helpful in balancing hormones. But people want to know, well, how does balancing my hormones actually impact on my autoimmune disease? And does it impact on this autoimmune disease, that autoimmune disease, or no symptoms of autoimmune or no diagnosis of autoimmune? Can it help me? I want to answer that question by presenting this series, which is a series of real people, real autoimmune issues, real hormonal health, and real balancing of those hormones with what their real results really are. So truly, true hormone and autoimmune transformations. We're going to be premiering different videos with different real people and their autoimmune issues. And we're going to show how their story is and what their experience has been and what their outcomes are, to actually show you that, yes, this stuff really works. Hormones and autoimmune's really linked, and it can work for any diagnosis or no diagnosis whatsoever. So welcome to our series on real transformations and real hormone balance in autoimmunity. So here we go. And I hope you enjoy this video today.
I had all these random and these widespread symptoms, and I was going to each doctor. So each doctor kind of was like standing on their own little tower and taking care of that issue. And I would ask if these were autoimmune related, and none of them really could confirm because they were just kind of isolated in their own area of expertise.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's interview with Rosanna. Rosanna's been struggling with lichen sclerosis that, one, a lot of doctors and a lot of patients don't even know is autoimmune. Number two, she had a myriad of mystery symptoms that started from the delivery of her son, including postpartum depression, hair loss, fatigue, shingles later on, a lot of mystery symptoms with skin, tear ducts that were just completely ignored, even including early menopause, and not put together as being related with autoimmunity. I'd love to show you guys where she is now, just 2 months into her year of autoimmune turnaround, as to where each of these symptoms are. I hope you enjoyed this interview and the journey back from severe lichen sclerosis and a myriad of mystery symptoms. Hey, Rosanna, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Hi there, I am Rosanna Gibbons. I am 55. I am a retired math teacher, and I've been dealing with autoimmune issues for about 26 years,
Wow.
Although I wasn't sure that's what they were at the time. So that is the snapshot.
So Rosanna, it's interesting because I was in our Facebook group, Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally, and there was a comment from one of your friends actually under one of your posts celebrating some of your wins, and they didn't realize how much you had been going through the last 26 years.
I was surprised by that. I didn't even know she was part of the program. I do remember her from high school, and she did have, she said she was sick all the time, and that saddened me that she's been dealing with it all these years.
But what I'm saying is autoimmunity and a lot of these mystery illnesses is something that many people suffer alone, or they don't even realize how common it really is and how many people even close to them is going through the same thing.
Yes, it really is.
So what were some of the diagnoses that you had? You said 26 years. What are some diagnoses that you've been dealing with?
Well, after the birth of my first daughter is when I started having...
Which we know now is hormonally related.
Yes.
We talk about how hormone drops and rises is a major trigger of autoimmune disease. So now you know why it started after the birth of your daughter.
Yes. So I started having postpartum depression, insomnia.
Me too.
My nails started pulling away from my nail beds and my hair started thinning. But, at the time, they just said, oh, well, your hormones are fluctuating. Yes, that's part of it. But I thought that was just a normal process, that after you have a baby, you have all these other issues with your hormones. So that was kind of the first indicator. After I had my second daughter, I started going into perimenopause and had heavy bleeding, long periods for like 2.5 weeks. And then at that time, my doctor put me back on the pill and didn't think much of it until I went into menopause. I was postmenopausal by 38.
I was postmenopausal by the time I was 36. You know that story.
Yes, it was pretty amazing how similar our stories are.
Well, goes to show you these are patterns that are just completely missed by conventional medicine doctors. And trust me, I know I was one of those conventional doctors myself. Until I got sick, I didn't recognize these were patterns, So you're starting to see that postpartum, hormonal changes, early menopause, these are all related with autoimmunity.
Yes. After a couple of years being postmenopausal, that's when I was diagnosed with lichen sclerosus.
Yeah.
And again, my doctor told me, oh, it's because you went into early menopause and these things can happen. And with my own research, I discovered it was actually an autoimmune condition. So that was my first indicator that something is not right in my body when I got the lichen sclerosus. So then I had as I told you, a huge bout with post-herpetic neuralgia when I got shingles. And I got the really rare shingles, the one without the rash. So, I didn't get the antiviral in time and I dealt with 18 months of pain.
I went through the same thing with my left hip.
Oh, yeah.
It was not 18 months. It was about 6 months of severe left hip pain. I was working out, physical therapy, trainers, everything, no rash. At the end of 6 months, a rash showed up. And then I tested positive for shingles. And this is not uncommon, especially people with autoimmunity and really hypo, irregular immune systems. You can have very atypical presentations of viral infections or recurrence of infections like shingles. So this is a very common pattern I see. You're not a rare zebra. This not only happened to you, it happened to me, and I've seen it happen to thousands of other people. So what was your biggest frustrations dealing with 26 years of these doctors and symptoms?
I think the biggest frustration is that, I had all these random and these widespread symptoms, and I was going to each doctor. So each doctor kind of was like standing on their own little tower and taking care of that issue. And they were all doing a great job taking care of those issues. And I would ask if these were autoimmune related, and none of them really could confirm because they were just kind of isolated in their own area of expertise. And I really wanted somebody to put it all together. My primary care would have done that. To his defense, he inherited my relationship from my previous primary care, and she wasn't putting it all together. And I was so busy and just dealing with just the day-to-day life of dealing with all my weird symptoms that I wasn't trying to put it all together at that time. But I knew that something needed to be done to figure out what is really going on with me. And it really took, I finally ended up going to a rheumatologist because I was asking, what is going on? And also my daughter at that time, she suffered 2 pulmonary emboli and was diagnosed with antiphospholipid syndrome. And then they suspected lupus as well. And in my brain, I knew that there was this hereditary component that I had read about. And so I went to the rheumatologist and he tested me, for all of these things, sarcoid, Sjogren's, lupus, but all of them came back normal. So he just, dismissed me, not dismissed me. He just said, everything's normal. So I guess you're okay. And I knew I wasn't normal.
So it's really common for people to go from doctor to doctor with specialists in their own little silos. And the thing is that we actually don't train primary care doctors or specialists to understand that autoimmunity can link all of these symptoms, right? And that there's patterns of different targets of autoimmune attack in each person that's dealing with autoimmunity. Hey, everyone, that was an incredible interview with Rosanna. And yes, lichen sclerosus can impact upon, skin, Also can cause painful intercourse. It has a tremendous impact upon your personal life, your self-confidence, and it creates an incredible amount of suffering, especially it's an autoimmune disease with many other targets of autoimmune attacks. So the insomnia is no joke. The anxiety is no joke. Sometimes the joint pain, the fatigue is no joke, to the point where Rosanna had trouble even driving home from work. So it's been just amazing to watch her journey. And she's currently now an inspiration to tons of other people in our Facebook group. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, make sure you join our Facebook group, Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally. I hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I did. If you know anyone with any of these symptoms of lichen sclerosis or any other autoimmune disease, go ahead and type their name in the comment section now. Sharing is caring, and thank you for raising awareness. They may not listen to you, but they may listen to Rosanna. So go ahead and put their name in the comment section below, and that'll be awesome. So thanks a lot, everybody, and have a great day.